What's up, guys? It is Saturday night, and we are doing the thing, man. I figured I would get on here and have a little cocktail, and figured I would just chat with you guys here on a Saturday night. I already watched my Venom yesterday. Any of you guys actually catch that? It was a pretty fantastic movie. Honestly, I think it's probably one of the better Marvel movies that came out. But honestly, I like the anti-hero movies anyway, so it's more my thing. Let me see. What do we got? I need to get in the. Let me see. Need to get in the chat so I can see what everyone is saying or has been saying. That can't be right. Alright, it says the stream health is good. Stream resume. Okay, good. Always a problem, man. Anytime I do live streaming, it apparently, when I try and use an external encoder like OBS or something like that, I always have problems. It's always something. Is the stream not working? I have a feeling that that's exactly what's going on. Alright, am I back? Am I back? Hang on one second. Yo, what's going on, Chad? How are you, man? Okay, it says the stream health is fantastic, so I'm hoping that it's actually working. Like I said, guys, every single time I try to use, like, OBS, try and do something a little bit different, like, it never works out for me. Like, I always end up having to default back to Google's Hangout or whatever. Like, and I hate it, because you can't do anything fun, can't do anything interesting on there. It's just a complete turd. So yeah, like I was saying, guys, is I had originally planned on going and checking out Venom tonight, but I ended up just watching it yesterday. And honestly, I think it's probably one of my most favorite Marvel movies. But that's probably because I like all the anti-heroes like Batman and Deadpool and those kinds. I'm not really all into the goody two-shoes, you know. It's just not my style. But I did really love the movie. So if you guys have not checked it out, I would definitely consider going and checking it out. It was pretty fantastic. I think Tom Hardy did a pretty good job. At first I thought that he was just going to talk a little weird, maybe because he was half drunk through the movie. But no, that's literally how he talks through the whole movie. Oh, man, what is going on? Maybe I should change my bitrate on this or something. Alright, I changed the bitrate. Maybe that'll help. I'm so sorry, guys. This is brutal. I didn't even try to start early. Okay, are we good now? All right. I guess my big butt is caught. All right, what's going on? All right, I think I lowered the bit rate down to 3,500 instead of like 5,600 or something. That seems to be doing the trick. At least I hope so. But I am definitely getting more responses now. That's cool. All right, boys. Get y'all's drinks, man. Does anyone else here drink besides me? I think it's a lot more fun when everyone's a little half intoxicated. Everyone, this is truth serum as far as I'm concerned. Everyone gets real honest with you when they start lubing it up. The neighbors must be surfing the internet. No, I don't think that's it. I think my bit rate was up too high on OBS. For whatever reason, I thought maybe I could chew up a little bit of extra bandwidth, and it just didn't work out. But to be fair, I am streaming directly from my phone, so I'm not even using the house internet. All right, well, as long as it's doing better, I mean, that's all I really care about. All right. Oh, yeah. I missed that comment, man. He says, I guess my big butt is causing bandwidth issues. I don't think it's you, man. I really don't. I thought, like I said, I think it was just the bit rate. It was too high. Way too high. So, I know why I'm not, like, doing anything special this evening. I've been working my ass off all day today. And I've got to get up first thing in the morning. I've got a real estate photography job. Thank God it's close. Thank God it doesn't involve too much work, so I should be able to be done by around 9 or 10 a.m. I should be good, which will definitely help me out. Are you kidding me? All right, now it's telling me I need to change my keyframing. Oh, this is brutal. Let me see. Gerald says, got me one of those real estate gigs tomorrow as well. For real? Like, where are you actually going? Like, what kind of gig is it? Is it like a full walkthrough, or is it an exterior? I've got a basic shoot tomorrow, so it probably won't even take me maybe an hour. Super duper simple stuff. I'm probably, if I remember the job correctly, I could probably look it up. But I do believe that the real estate job that I'm going to do tomorrow is just a simple like exterior and amenities kind of thing from outside. I don't even have to do like a full walkthrough or anything. So, all right, it's saying my stream health is pretty bad. I don't know what the deal is. So, man, I feel so bad. Stream options. It's probably because I've got it on low latency. That way I could actually have a conversation with you guys this evening. All right. Well, hopefully it's better than it was. We'll just go that way. Gerald says, full house, 2,800 square foot house, interior and exterior with some higher altitude drone stills. Stream looks good from here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, that sounds like a pretty good job. I would say with 2,800 square feet and drone shots, you're looking at probably at least a couple of hours, maybe a bit longer. I'm hoping that I do not have to do much post-processing tomorrow. Like I said, it's going to be pretty easy. With Fujifilm, you know, and their film simulations, it makes it so much easier to avoid a whole lot of post-processing instead of always trying to just fiddle with it to make it look good out of camera. I usually just pick like either the Astia or the Provia, and most of the photographs look just fantastic. Just depending on the day. If it's kind of a cloudy day, I tend to maybe use Velvia a little bit more to kind of boost up all the contrast and the saturation. If it's a little bit of a sunnier day, I might go with Provia. Classic Chrome does not really work that well. Real estate agents and stuff like that, they always want those photographs to be bright and pretty and pop really well. So anytime I try and use that muted color, I don't know, I just don't get the same level of feedback as I would if I had, stuff kind of pumped up a little bit. Gerald says, exactly, budgeting for about 2 hours. Man, I'm telling you, I'm good. I know how many square feet it takes to shoot a place. That is delicious. All right. So, I wanted to ask you all, did you all happen to see, I mean, it's all over the internet. There's no way you couldn't have seen it. That Banksy artwork self-destruct thing. Did anyone happen to see it? Oh, my God. Hang on. Let me show you all this. Check this out. Hang on. Are you serious? Oh, God. Are you kidding me? So brutal. Oh, man. What a hell of a night. What a hell of a night. It's absolutely brutal. It really isn't. You know why? You know why it's not my night tonight? It's because I decided to use OBS. If I'd used Google Hangouts, I'd be having no problems. But I wouldn't be able to do, like, fun stuff like, I don't know, like, boom! I was planning on using that every time I got a super chat or something like that, but you know what I mean? Oh, see, I know what happened. I didn't add my sound source to the, I didn't add the sound source to my, my screen capture scene. It's because I suck. I put it together really fast, and I completely forgot to add my sound source. What do you do? Yeah, it's totally not my night tonight. Like I said, I'm exhausted. I've had the longest day. So I basically just forgot to do appropriate things. Alright. Now I can switch over. Now I should be good. Alright, now we can talk and show things at the same time. So anyway, this was the piece of art. It's called Girl with Balloon. And then as soon as it's sold... Hang on, let me play the video for you. As soon as this thing sold... Look, this is him installing a shredder into the back of the frame. And then now they're doing the auction. All right, so it just sold for 1.4, and then it starts shredding. They're like, excuse me, excuse me. Nothing to see here. I mean, how ingenious is that? Like I said, dude, we're clearly doing it wrong. We have not... Are you serious? Oh, so brutal. No, it's me. No, as far as I know, it was a legitimate auction. All right, there's no sound now. Sure, there's sound now, right? God. All right, man. I appreciate it. I don't know, man. It's just not my night. So did y'all hear the story at all about that thing? Banksy's artwork self-destructed during a live auction. As soon as the artwork got sold, he must have sent like a Wi-Fi signal or something, as you know, to the picture frame, and then it just immediately started to shred the artwork. Thus vastly increasing the price of that work. So it sold in US dollars for about $1.4 million. I guarantee you, as soon as that thing shredded it probably gained in value maybe 100%. So the next time they sell it all shredded up, the guy that bought it, I guarantee you, just doubled his money. Like that. Spent $1.4 million, now he's going to make $2.4 million. I don't understand, man. We're just doing it wrong. I mean, we work our asses off. We do stuff all day trying to think up interesting concepts. But I'm telling you, it's the controversy. I'll give you all my number one example. I did that video talking about, you know, Peter McCannon. Peter McCannon shilling for Canon gets 13,000 views. I did the video yesterday about something that was actually kind of important, like 700 views. That's it. I mean, it was good information, but there's no drama in it. So you have to ask yourselves why YouTubers, Instagrammers, all those people, Twitch streamers, why they thrive on drama. It's because that's all people want to see. Without the drama, there is no entertainment for most people. They don't want information. They don't want encouragement. They want drama. Period. End of story. That's how it works, boys. That's how it works. If you want to make money, if you want to be popular, if you want to get attention, if you want to get eyeballs, you got to do controversial stuff. And that's the only way it works. And that's unfortunate because I really thought and kind of felt like maybe there had been someone new that had maybe started watching my channel and they needed to hear the information or something. And if I suppose if I reached that person, I think I probably did a good job. I mean, I kind of, landed where I set off to land. But as far as overall performance of the video, I mean, it was a bomb. Complete and total bomb. Let's see. Brian Robertson says, my favorite was when he turned NYC on its head trying to find his pieces, and he was selling them by Grand Central for $10. Yeah, I know. I mean, he's crazy. Gerald says, exactly. More drama, more hits you get. Drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy, too. But, I mean, the one good thing about the clickbait titles, and this is another thing that works, is clickbait. Is that it just might so happen that you'll expose yourself to, not literally expose yourself, keep all of that junk down, but you might expose yourself or get yourself exposed to new people that may have not otherwise have checked out your channel or something. But I mean, honestly, if you're like Gavin Hoey, does anyone know who Gavin Hoey is? Long-time YouTube photographer. But I mean, he's like this kind of like just a dorky little guy who's just teaching photography. And I mean, I actually like Gavin Hoey. I like his instructional videos. But I mean, it's like, that's the struggle. Is I can remember back when I did more instructional type videos. I mean, just nothing. But I actually like instructional videos. So there's like 10 of us out there. And we're all watching those videos over and over and over again. But Gavin Hoey is a great photographer. He's just not that interesting to watch if you're looking for entertainment value. And I think that there has to be like this balance between info and entertainment. And if there is not that balance, I mean, dude, you were never getting discovered. You were never going to be seen. Period. Let's see. What's going on, man? Gavin Hoey was the first YouTube photographer I ever saw. I loved his 15-minute photo challenges. He is still a legendary instructor to me. He is, I think he's fantastic. I mean, I don't think that he's, like, overall entertaining. You know, like, entertaining in the traditional sense. But, I mean, he's good. I mean, he actually has, like, some great information, but you or me as a YouTuber, as someone that just wants to reach an audience, that wants to, connect with people that also do what we do. I mean, Gavin Hoey is not like the ideal candidate. Now, if you were going to say like a seminar or a workshop, I think Gavin Hoey would be excellent. Now, he's got a quirky little personality. I think he's hilarious in some regards. Maybe not intentionally, but I mean, I find him mildly entertaining, not overtly so. Michael said, yes, Gavin is like watching a textbook, but he is great. And he is. Like, I'm not trying to bash Gavin. And honestly, I've never met Gavin. I've never even talked to him. I would like to meet him, and I would like to talk to him at some point. But yeah, if it was between watching, Gavin and, say, I don't know, maybe the guys from F-Stoppers, I kind of find them a little bit more entertaining. Lee can get a little too in the weeds for some people. Unless you're already kind of familiar with photography, you might get a little bit lost. But if I had to choose between Lee and Gavin, I would probably choose like Lee 6 or 7 out of 10 times. Let's see. Brian says, I guess it comes down to what's your objective. If your goal is to dig deep into the craft, the audience for that is pretty limited. If you want to hit the mainstream, throw on an Affliction t-shirt. Actually, I don't think this is an Affliction t-shirt. I think it's a It might be. Whatever. Well, I mean, it's got a skull on it, and I'm kind of a fan of skulls. Big fan, actually. I like all that evil rock and roll shit. Too Smart says, I learned a lot from the Adorama team. Yeah, I think probably the most consistent Adorama YouTuber that I kind of kept up with there for a long time was like Mark over at Snap Factory. But he's like doing a bunch of stuff abroad now. He doesn't like do a whole lot of studio work. He used to work in a studio out in Arizona, but he's not been doing that here lately. So I'm not really for sure. But I do think that Mark was probably the one that I watched the most consistently when I first got onto YouTube. And unfortunately, that is who I modeled a lot of my early photography videos after. Was kind of like instructional video. Him and Gavin, I watched quite a bit. And, I mean, I just wasn't good back then at all. Like, I didn't... when I watched my old videos, it always kind of felt like I was trying too hard or I was trying to act too professional. But it was really hard to do that, like when you got gauged ears and I had a bunch of shit in my face, piercings and all that. But, I mean, it's just growing pains, I suppose. I mean, we all kind of go through that sort of thing. Let's see. Brian says, if you want to teach the craft through a personal story about your journey, that's another that I've seen done really well. It's reality TV, not for everyone. Yeah. Gerald says, F-stoppers, those photo critique videos are like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't watch critique videos, and if you're still watching, Eric, it's nothing against critique videos in general. They're just not for me, and I don't do critique videos. I mean, I've thought about doing them, but I just can't bring myself to do them. I really can't. And I think half the problem with critique videos, at least for me, is I feel awkward critiquing someone else's work. Like, I did a video probably maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago where I actually talked about the reasons why I don't do critique videos. And honestly, it was kind of a stab at Jared's critique videos. The fuzzy-headed fro. So, someone takes the time to get a camera, and then they go out, go shoot, do all the work, come back, do the editing, make sure it's just perfect, upload it onto the internet, tag it, title it, make sure that it's promoted well, put up in a portfolio, and then some guy that you've never met, you've never seen before, had no involvement in that shoot whatsoever, says, oh, well, I would have did this, and I would have done that, and I would have, basically, what we could have done is, let's just erase everything you just did, and that's what I would have done. I would have done nothing that you did in this photo. And I've watched so many of Jared's critiques, and he is just an asshole. And I'm fine with assholes. I mean, I happen to be one. But not if I'm not involved. Like, in a shoot, like, there's no way I could do that to someone's work. I mean, maybe in private, but to make them feel like dog shit in front of an audience of thousands, I mean, that takes some balls. I mean, massive balls. To not have any involvement in someone else's work and then just rip it to shreds, I think that is the height of assholery. Yeah, look, man, I didn't do anything on this job. I didn't do the legwork. I didn't set up the model. I didn't do any of the hair or makeup. But you know what? I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to rip your shit to shreds. Are you ready? All right, let's go. I can't stand that. Brutally not my thing. Polyrhythm says, I know this is off topic, but what mod and tank are you using, by the way? I am using the Avenger mod, It's got the full color screen, and I can also set up lights. I don't know. You see, I can set up lights. I can also set it to do, like, sound mode, so every time I talk, it'll kind of blink and shit. I never use it. It was just the cheapest one that I could find at the time that actually felt good in the hand. And this is the Smoke Big Baby Beast tank. I've been using this thing now for probably over a year and a half. I love this tank. It just never drips. It never leaks at all. So Eric says, I like the f-stopper guys, but I don't like the photographers they do courses with. They seem so in love with themselves. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, anyone on the internet, you do have to have a certain level of narcissism, right? I mean, you got to like yourself. You've got to think that you're, good enough to do, like, public speaking and have an audience and captivate that audience, right? So, I mean, you do have to kind of have a small sense of self-love in order to do what we do. I mean, no one puts a camera in their face, if they don't want people to see it. You know what I mean? So, Gerald says, I discovered you recently with... the photo video show. Oh, you must be talking to Eric. Okay, that's cool. It's fine, Mark. Not all of us can be good enough to critique others. Yeah. And I'm not good enough, man. I'm below good. Actually, I'm probably less than good. Honestly, I'm a piece of shit. Oh, man, you should have heard some of the comments that I've gotten in the last few days. People are still commenting on the Peter McCannon video. Oh, man, I'm getting some of the most yummy, juicy, absolutely wonderful comments. Like, oh, my God, you suck. You're so terrible. You're awful. Why are you trying to name drop in all of your videos? I said, well, first of all, because I'm not a little bitch. I was like... The only people that make a video and go, well, there was this one channel, the guy with the big hair. It's like, who doesn't know who the hell you're talking about? I'm calling out Jared fucking Poland, right? Sorry for all you, if there's any kids in the room, I apologize. But I'm not a little bitch. I'm going to say who I'm talking about because I'm a grown-ass man and I'm not trying to be a keyboard warrior. I'm not going to make a point about somebody else, whether they're a peer or not, and like keep my mouth shut and not say their name. Grown folks say the name. They call someone out pacifically. You don't mealy mouth around like a little tween and, oh, well, that one guy that used to have the art of photography, like old Mick Millman. What a douchebag that guy was. So, when I want to talk about someone, I say the name. I say the name because that's the grown thing to do. Don't badmouth somebody and then not say their name, right? I mean, that was just the way I was taught. But, like, if you've got a qualm with somebody, you go and you say names. Like, you don't... I've got something to say. I hope no one hears. This is not... It's... Yeah, you don't do that. Just don't. You don't do that. Let's see. Brian says, how about critiquing your own work? Go through your early work, point out mistakes, how your style's changed, what influenced it, etc. The UK guys do that. I find it really helpful. That's actually not a bad idea. I've never... Oh, man. I actually... I happen to be scrolling... really, really far back into some of my work from maybe like 10 years ago. Oh, you talk about brutal. Like, I'm my own worst critic. And there were so many pictures back then that not only did I try to save... if you ever taken a shitty picture, but it's like the best shitty picture out of a full set of shitty pictures, and you try and save it, you try and, like, edit the ever-loving crap out of it to try and make it look like have some semblance of a decent photograph. I found several of those, and I'm just like, oh, I was embarrassed for myself. I'm just like, oh God, no. Oh, what have you done? What were you thinking? And like, people saw it. Like, I finally worked on it enough, and people saw it. I don't know what the hell I was. Oh, it's brutal. Not good. Brian says, in my industry, it's standard to do those kinds of reviews. Interesting. I'm going to totally consider it. Seriously. Christopher McLeroy says, I made my mod. I used to do all mechanical mods, and those were pretty easy to make. But I mean, honestly, unless you're just into it, it's just cheaper to go buy one. Too Smart says, I remember buying my first point and shoot and being turned down by Pond 5. That is the first time I watched a critique video just to see what editors look for. Oh, okay, so you were trying to submit work to Pond 5 as like stock photography or whatever. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. That would be really, like, if you're wanting to get into some sort of like stock photography, yeah, trying to get into the minds of the people that are potentially going to be picking your work up and paying you for that work, that's an absolutely fantastic strategy. That's about the only way you ought to do it. Casper says, Audi pay Althme. Yes, I know. I've absolutely got a potty mouth. I've never denied that. Like, it's totally bad. MJ Adams says, McCannon, laughing my ass off. Thanks for making me spit out my beer. Now I have to go clean it up. Still worth it, I guess. Dude, it was totally worth it. Polyrhythm says, definitely worth it. Andre DiMio says, Fro knows shit. I mean, I don't know what Fro knows. I really don't. Most people, like, they get so pissed off. And I've had several, like, angry, combative commenters on some of those videos. And they're like, why are you talking bad about Peter? Or why are you talking shit about Fro? And I'm like, first of all, I'm not. I made a dope-ass comment about Fro. I was like, why don't you get your... Hey, I got a sniff test for you. Why don't you take your nose out of Nikon's ass? And that was... It landed well. Like, it flowed right out of me. And I was like, that sounds effing awesome, and I'm keeping that in my video. So whilst I edited, but it wasn't an ad hominem attack against either Fro or Peter. I was arguing based on the merits. It has to be on the merits, right? Peter shilled for Canon in that video. Period, point blank, end of story. Y'all know it. I know it, and even the fanboys that are defending them, they know it. I didn't say, he has a poo-poo face, or, dude, get rid of that long-ass hippie hair, you Canadian? I don't know. I didn't use any ad hominem attacks. I critiqued them and said things to them, and I said their name, because I'm not a little bitch, directly based on the merits of those videos. Period, end of story. Peter shilled for Canon, and Jared made excuses for Nikon, and it was blatantly obvious. Had it been a Fujifilm camera that Jared was playing around with, oh man, he would have just dicked it hard, man. He would have just ripped it. That video that he did, I think it was with the XH1, absolutely, unequivocally, he was hunting for stuff to not like about the camera, and everyone that saw it could see it, and he didn't know how to use it, really. I mean, you could just tell that, I mean, he was just fumble effing the whole thing. Like, he had no clue what he was doing. And I know it, and y'all know it, and anyone else that watched it knew it. It's like, I don't want to review anything unless I've had it for at least a couple of weeks, where that's the only camera that I use. That is ridiculously unfair to a camera to A, not know how to use it, and B, have zero experience with the camera, and then try and pawn it off. It's like, dude, just because you're on YouTube, just because you've been on YouTube, doesn't make you a expert photographer with Fuji stuff. What a pompous dick. It's like, you are not, you know, camera god because you've been on YouTube for however many years. And I'll tell y'all right now, this is not an ad hominem attack either. Go back and look at any of Jared's old videos. He's not a videographer. He has no clue how to record video. He might know how to now, but before Steven joined his team, it was Jared sitting on the couch with his 98-year-old grandmother, Lily. That's when I started watching him. That was Jared. That was all. That was it. When Steven showed up on the scene, that's when his production value went through the roof. Before then, nah. That show looks the way it does right now because of Steven. That dude is a hell of a videographer. He is a hell of a producer. And he's a hell of an editor if he's doing all the editing on those videos. Because before that, all Fro did, he used ScreenFlow. He used ScreenFlow software, and all of his videos were edited with that by himself. You can tell the difference between the quality. It's like night and day. So, I don't know what kind of photographer Jared is. I mean, I'm not going to critique his work. I just got done saying that. I don't critique other people's work. I wasn't on the job. I wasn't asked. So, you all be the judge. But as far as him being a videographer, I know exactly what he is capable of with video, and it ain't much. All right. Damn it. Okay, here we go. Michael says, I learn a lot from different teachers, YouTubers, online, and physical classes. I'm tired of training. It's running out of my ass. It's all about applying, working, and getting out there and creating. And it is. You are going to learn probably 10 times more by trial and error than you ever would by listening to one of us douchebags, one of us windbags just blowing hot air. Oh, well, if you really want to do the right thing, listen to everything that I say. Screw that, man. All that noise has got to stop. YouTubers in general are pretty decent people, and I've met several of them. But there are a few pompous, know-it-all jackasses. And I won't name names here because it's not a Morning Jolt video. If I've actually got a qualm with somebody, I'll totally do it. But I mean, personally, from a personal standpoint, I have met several of them. Probably like 10 or 20 of them. I'll tell you who the super nice ones are. I mean, the ridiculously nice ones, the ones that are exactly the opposite of me, and that's Max Yuriev, ridiculously nice guy. It's almost sickening how nice that guy is. Hugh Brownstone, ridiculously nice guy. I love that man. Dan Watson is literally probably one of the nicest guys I have ever met in my entire life. Him and Max are like right there. They're like super nice. They don't curse. They say no bad words. It's scary. I don't trust a man. I don't trust a man that doesn't curse. I don't know. I've met a lot of them. Gary Fong, he was kind of unfriendly. He didn't really talk very much. So he may not have been unfriendly. Maybe he was just really busy testing out cameras, but I don't know. He wasn't that friendly. To me, anyway. He was probably super friendly to the engineers. All right, let me get down here, man. I feel like I'm... Let's see. Michael says, Mark, tell the truth. Man, that's the only way I roll. Hang on, man. I got to re-up on my drink. I can't sit here and talk all this bullshit without some extra drink. All right. I'm not going to put it on camera so that I don't get flagged. Someone's going to say, oh, he had an illicit substance on screen. Literally, how old do you got to be to report? Like, seriously, anyone that flags a video for foul language or illicit substances, you should just delete your internet social life, because you are bottom feeder trash. The internet was, honestly, it was one of the best last hopes for free speech on the planet. And a bunch of kindergarten teachers walking around, no, you shouldn't say that. It's brutal. All right, where am I at? Brian says, had the Z7 been made by Fuji, he would have taken a shit on it, no doubt. That AF hunted bad, and it did. And he knows it, and everyone else knows it. Like, it doesn't take a genius to not watch. Like, all you have to do is watch that video one time, and you can see that he is actively trying. It's sort of like Peter McKinnon's butt buddy, whatever his name is, Matty or whatever. Just like him trying to make that A7 III not focus correctly. That was bullshit. 110% trash. His review was a, hey, let me see how bad I can make this thing look. I don't even own the camera, and I know for a fact that he was lying. He was actively trying to screw that review up. Too Smart says, people hate lobbyists because they usually work for the best interests of big companies and not the public. Canon is no different. Honestly, I don't have a huge problem with big business. If Peter had started that video out and he would have said, just going to let y'all know, boys and girls, Canon gave me all this free shit today, and I'm basically just going to talk nice about it because I kind of have to. I'm a Canon ambassador, and I got free stuff, and I'm going to publicly make a bunch of excuses for all the shortcomings that this camera has. By the way, I really like to shoot in 120 video. This camera doesn't happen to have it, but I just want to say it challenged me as a photographer and video maker. Really? Really? I mean, I'm sure it did challenging because he's already got a camera that's got all the features that he wants to use. Ugh, it's brutal. Andrea says, I'd rather buy a kid's camera than that Z7. That thing is junk. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, for $3,500, dual card slots should have been like at least the I mean, $3,500, like, and Nikon's even been saying here lately that it's not targeted toward the pro market. Well, first of all, duh. And then second of all, if I'm paying $3,500, I mean, like, that's the price of a used sedan. Okay? Like an old Toyota Corolla, right? Like $3,500 for a Toyota Corolla. Like, it better have more features than what was in it. I mean, I'm not ever in a million years paying that price tag without getting all the things. If I'm not getting all the things, I'm not buying it. I can buy two XT3s that have more features, more... I mean, I can't go on that rant tonight. I'm not doing that rant tonight. It's just not happening. Andrew says, Fro can't process pictures either. He has contrast, and that's it. But he says not to use JPEG, lol. I know, right? You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with JPEG. And I have discovered this because I was an advocate, full advocate of shooting in RAW. But I have gotten so comfortable with the in-camera processing of the Fuji system, of the X-T2 specifically. Dude, I shoot JPEG all the time. Ain't gonna lie, I'm not jamming up all my system and all my external media with raw files that I don't need. Period. Oh, damn. I'm 50 minutes in this thing, and I ain't speaking the truth. Ain't nobody... No super chats yet. Dang, I was really wanting to use this stupid little animation. Let me see how... Gerald says, what amazes me about Jared after all these years is he still cannot flash a scene to save his life. By his own admission, Fro don't know light. He don't. Like, seriously, if I recall correctly, he does concert photography. So, obviously, in most concerts, you're not allowed to do flash photography. So, maybe he just never figured it out. Maybe he can ask Steven to help him out with that. Steven can be his lighting guy. Hey, Steven, can you put this flash trigger on my camera for me? I'm not really for sure how. Come on now. Let me preach. Fathom Rocker says, yeah, Dan Watson seems like a nice guy. And he is. I mean, he's a ridiculously nice guy. Like, seriously. Dan Watson, like, he would be the guy that I would, like, want to call. Like, if you needed help, you know, doing something in your driveway with your car. Hey, Dan, could you help me out over here real quick? He'd be like, oh, yeah, sure, neighbor. Like, he would totally do that. I mean, he's a ridiculous nice guy. And I know for a fact, I mean, I liked them as people, but I can definitely tell that I am not their cup of tea. I remember we were all sitting there at dinner, and I think I kind of, like, shocked a couple of people sitting at the table. I mean, obviously, it's kind of my thing. But it wasn't intentional. It was just me being kind of like normal. I thought, okay, you know, a bunch of guys sitting around the table, you know, let's trash talk a little bit. No, kind of went over like a lead balloon. I mean, I still like them. You know, they're great. They're great people. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. Let's see. Gerald says, I'd love to have a beer with Hugh. I could listen to that man read the phone book. You know what? Hugh talks like that all the time. We were sitting there having breakfast one morning, and Hugh sounds like Hugh. I actually did an interview with Hugh before I actually met him. It didn't go over well. It was it was a streamed interview, so again, I had a bunch of problems just like I was having tonight. It just didn't turn out all that well. But yeah, Hugh's got that voice. He should really do voice acting. He really should, like on the side. Maybe not voice acting. He should do ASMR or is that what you say, or AMSR? I don't COPD, ABCD. I don't know what it's called. It's where you talk like this and you pop your lips and make little sound. Whatever that shit's called. I can't do it. Too many mouth sounds. It disgusts me. Oh, it's brutal. It's just like, who wants to listen to someone's lips popping for an hour and a half? Too Smart says, for video, Dave Dugdale. Again, I've never met Dave. Dave is, though, I know the type. He is just one of those ridiculously nice guys. I mean, he's like Dan Watson. He's like the Dan Watson of Colorado. He's just super nice. Is anybody? Am I the only one drinking tonight? Come on, man. Chad says Ken Wheeler is super nice. You know what? I've never met Ken either. Of course, he doesn't go to a lot of these press events and stuff, so I can imagine that I wouldn't have met him. I can't imagine why. There's a really good... Whoa, what happened? Something just happened. Am I even still streaming? Am I still going? I think I am. What the hell? Okay, yeah, I am still streaming. Yeah, the power just cut out. I'm not for sure what happened. That is the weirdest sound. Like, there's this... Dude, that is a scare. Hold on real quick. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The breaker just popped, though. We've been having a bunch of storms and stuff here recently, and I think they've also been working on the power lines, but because I am streaming from my phone and not from the house internet, that was the reason I did that, I am still online. Haha, battery backups. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, I was talking about Ken, but I've never met Ken. He's probably a lot like me. Great big loud bark. Very little bite. I mean, honestly, I'm not searching. I'm not hunting out confrontation or anything, right? I mean, I really don't like confrontation. But I mean, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. Sometimes you just have to say it like it is, just so that everyone's on the level. And I want to be called out too. You know, if I happen to mess up or if I F up, either factually or intellectually, like if it's just blatant, someone please correct me. I'm not looking to be right. I'm not looking to portray myself as the know-it-all of photography. I mean, there's a lot of disciplines, that subcategories that fall in the range of real photography that I have no clue about. I mean, I can grasp concepts. I can understand principles. But it doesn't mean that I have any real-life, real-world experience in a particular genre of photography. I leave that to other people. I like to comment. I like to opine. I like to talk about the things that interest me as far as photography goes. But people that are both YouTubers and photographers, for whatever reason, I'm not really for sure what it is, they like to portray themselves as like they know all the things, and they don't. No one does. And that, I think that's probably the thing that gets on my nerves the worst, is that everyone has to feel like they are the ultimate professional. They are the ultimate know-it-all. And it's like, dude, you don't know shit. Just stop with your bullshit for 1 minute and just break it down and be honest with your audience. Tell them the truth. Tell them, you know, look, man, you know, people will call in, hey, with the Q&As and the question sessions, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know all about this. And you know they don't. You know they're just fudging it as they go. And that's probably what gets on my nerves the most. Shilling, I can't stand that. You know, if you're going to make a big, 20-minute commercial, just go, hey, Canon sent me all this shit. They didn't give it to, they didn't give it to me for nothing. I do have to talk about it in a specific way. I don't know. People are different and I don't know. Not everyone is the same. Hey, we actually got some. Yay, hold up. Damn it. Studio mode. Come on now, let me transition. Yeah, we got some super chats. David Johnson, thanks, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks, Michael. Tell the truth, Fuji. This is really Ken on my Ghost Act. Thanks, man. No, I really do appreciate the super chats. I don't know why I never get them. I mean, there's probably like 5 or 10 people that on occasion will send me a super chat. I don't know what I have to say to get super chats, though. But I appreciate it, guys. Seriously. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I am really bad with gratitude. I don't know how to say I appreciate people that I've never met. I don't know if that's just weird or if it's just, if it's just me. But, all right, let me try and catch up with some of these others. Michael, I really do appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. I hope you don't retract it, though. I've heard that that's kind of a thing on YouTube. Let's see. Robert McNeil says, I like Manny Ortiz. I met him at WPPI this year. Manny, we've never met personally, but we have talked on the phone. Manny is a ridiculously nice guy. He's probably not as like goody two shoes as some of the other ones, but Manny is really amazingly nice. I've never met him, but I would like to. I would definitely like to meet Manny. And, you know, again, have a drink with him, talk with him. Actually, you know, just have a drink with him, you know, kind of, I don't know, you do, to a certain extent, you kind of look up to your peers, right? Right? You kind of look up to your peers. You know, sometimes, like, I admire Manny for being willing to shoot all of his fashion and portrait photography and make sure that he records it all. Like, I would love to do some real estate photography videos and stuff like that, but I mean, it's just like, I just want to go do the job and then come home and edit and then get them uploaded to my client. I mean, I don't want to film all of it. I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass. And honestly, a lot of the personal work, it's not really personal. It is for clients, but I mean, it is personal to them, and they don't want me to ever show it. So when I I said do. I love it when I do that. So some of that work I would like. Hey, Electric's back. So when I do some of that stuff, I would love to show that stuff to you guys and show you how I work and all that kind of stuff, but I respect my clients too much to invade their privacy or go against my word. So on occasion, I think that sometimes I should, you know, do more personal work and just like send a casting call for a model so that, you know, I can get a release and I can actually record the photo shoots. But I have done some of that stuff where I have gotten the model's permission, and I've got those videos. I mean, they're in my past videos. You can do like the Sylvia Von Harden. You can check out the Sylvia Von Harden video, and you can also check out the I can't remember what I called it. Picasso, I think, was in the title though. So we kind of did a recreation. It was pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Leanna. I appreciate you too. You've said some of the most awesome things on a few of my past videos. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. Let's see. Casper says you already have the blinky eyes going. Do I really? Is it that bad? Robert McNeil says, I love Fujifilm cameras. I went to Fujifilm headquarters in, not even going to attempt that, man, Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo, Japan. Excellent customer service. I had the XT1 and the XT2. Yeah, honestly, I canceled my pre-order for the XT3. The XT2 has not let me down yet. And for the vast majority of the video I do, the Canon M50 is a solid performer right now for me. But hang on. I got to do the... Oh, what the... Are you... There we go. That was for Leanna. Boom! Thank you so much. MJ says, damn it, another one. That Maddie comment was too much. Half my beer's on the floor tonight. That's either really good or really bad. Ah, man, it's all about perspective, really. MJ Adams says, I have a problem drinking tonight. I do not have a problem drinking tonight. I am doing just fine. Fathom Rocker says, Maddie keeps flipping on the A7 Mark III. So lame. I don't know what to think. Seriously. I think the first review was so bad that he's kind of sort of trying to redeem himself. Just a smidge. Complete and total speculation, though, my friend. MJ says, I thought that was just me on the Maddie vid. Thought that was all bullshit. It was, and it wasn't just you. Organic Farmer says, Maddie's video was even more bullshit. Was it not? Like, he was actively trying. Michael says, man, that dude Matty set up the A7 III for the fall 100%. I was like, wow. It was, man. Michael, tell me. Seriously, you look at that video, there's no one, not even no one could look at that video and tell me that was a genuine reaction. He was actively trying to make that camera look bad. I know how well they focus. I know how well they track. Either he got a shit copy, which is highly unlikely, or that dude was on purpose trying to make it look bad. Organic Farmer says, Peter didn't say very good things about the M50. Probably didn't get it for free. You're probably right. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you don't get a flat picture profile with it, but you can get it fairly flat with the CineStyle or whatever. Technicolor, CineStyle. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't even installed it on the camera yet because, honestly, I don't really give a shit. I've got a few personal LUT profiles that I've made that do a really good job of turning Rec 709 color space. No log required. Fathom Rocker says, Matty totally sabotaged the A7 Mark III. Such an asshole. True. Organic Farmer with his singing voice. He also says, I think, though, that I'd rather get the Z6 than the EOS R. As of right now, I mean, if you're looking for a full-frame video camera, still the A7 Mark III, but when it comes down to the Canon and Nikon offerings, I'd probably pick the Nikon too. And I took a big shit on that camera. I mean, a big one. Yeah, Titanium Sandwich said, your video quality is dropping. Says it's the alcohol. I'm out of the country at the moment. Won't let me do a super chat. That's all right, man. Seriously, y'all don't have to, but it's appreciated all the time. Keebler says, I started with Canon in 2015 and decided I didn't need full frame, so I bought an XT20 a few days ago, and now I've seen the light. Fuji for the win. I'm telling you, see, if more people would just try it, I mean, and you have to really try it. I mean, don't do this like F off, like I'm going to try it for 15 minutes in the camera store. 15 minutes in the camera store is you get a basic idea of how it feels in the hand and basic functions and menu, right? A real honest-to-God try is at least a month. You buy it, take it home. That's the only camera you use for 2 to 4 weeks, and then you make your evaluation. That's the only way to do a good judgment call on a new camera or a new camera system. So, yeah. I tell that to people all the time. Get it. Just put it on a credit card. Get it. Try it out. If you don't like it, just send it back and the money just reappears on your credit card. No harm, no foul. MJ says, I'm trying to drink. Titanium Sandwich said, you didn't pay the... I did pay the electric bill, man. It's just... we've been having, like, some weird stuff going on with the electric around here. I don't know if they're, like, working on a transformer, because sometimes it happens when it's raining in the area, or there's a thunderstorm nearby, and then other times it's just, I don't know. Gerald said he said Ken's name. Boom. Man, I am so far behind, apparently. Holy crap. Of course, why wouldn't I say his name? Brian Robertson says, Kevin Mullins has a great channel too. Big fan of his. Sean Tucker too. If only for his candor. Gets into the psychology of being a photographer. I don't know that I've watched their channels, but I'm not opposed to it. That's for sure. Michael says, it's the drinking mark. Hey man, on all my shows I drink. Just in the mornings it happens to be coffee. Too Smart says, as a non-Fuji guy, other than the 4K 60, I'm not feeling the XT3 hype. Maybe it's the lack of third-party glass options. You have to fully depend on Fuji for glass. IBIS as an option beats 4K 60 in my opinion also. What about the XH1? And it's not like Fuji glass is shit. It's honestly some of the best glass you can buy. It's well constructed. Most of it is all metal. Most of them you have aperture rings on the lens. That clutch system. Ho! Dang, I mean, you interrupted the shit out of me with that donation. Dan Brovon, thanks for the keto vid. You helped me out. Did I really? Are you the guy that I was talking to earlier? Man, seriously, if you need any help with keto, contact me anytime. At any time. I don't want to do keto talk on this particular stream, but anytime you need help, man, it will work. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. I appreciate the super chat. And as a matter of fact, you get a explosion. Yeah, try the XH1, man. Too smart. I mean, did you even give it a go? Put it in your hands? Organic Farmer, you're still there. I hear crickets. Cool. Brian Robertson says, oh yeah, Fuji glass is very, very good. And he ain't lying. He's not lying. Honestly, who needs third-party glass unless you're just looking for cheap? I mean, I know some people are. But when you start using the Fuji glass, you can just feel that they take some level of pride in those lenses. Organic Farmer says, how's the XT3 in low light for photo and video? For photo, it's about the same as far as in terms of image quality. Low light acquisition is definitely better because of the -3 EV. For video, tracking is pretty good. But I mean, I didn't get a chance to test the XT3 in low light for video. I would say that it probably also performs relatively similarly to the XT2. I don't do much low light shooting in general. But if I did, I would be comfortable going up to 6400 ISO on the XT2. I think there's probably a little bit of extra headroom on the XT3. But I mean, if you have to go that high as far as like photos or video, you're probably not doing any lighting whatsoever. So some of those other options might be a better one for you. All right, I need to catch up on my comments. I appreciate it so much, man. You guys are, y'all are blowing me up, and I appreciate it. Most photographers, Michael says, most photographers. So Mark, tell the clients this shit ain't making me no more money. Yeah. Too Smart says, oh, okay, he's talking to them. MJ Adams, Diana is hot too. MJ says, is Matt Granger super cringy with models, or is that just me? I mean, my personal opinion, that dude loves him some manga. Or some hentai. One man cannot be that into Asian chicks without reading a little bit of manga. A little bit of hentai. Come on. I think I'm onto something here. Michael Mysterio says, Mark is going to be drunk, and we're going to feel like we're going through Afghanistan after he's done. Boom, boom, boom. Laughing out loud. Mark, take your hand off the button. I can't. I can't. Richard says, dude. Back at you, man. Dude. David Johnson says, did a super chat, but it didn't show up. David, it didn't? Yes, it did. Totally showed up, man. There it is. I see it. $5. It goes away after a little while. I've got a description of how Super Chat works down in the description, so I appreciate it. Jose says, I'm a Nikon shooter for the past 10 years and have now a D850, and I got an XT3 in yesterday, and I tried at night in Orlando Parks, and oh my God, the colors, the definition straight out of camera, XT3 stays with me. There you go. And I believe him because I know how Fuji does things. Maybe not specifically, because I've never been able to shoot with the X-T3 in low light, but I believe this guy. I believe this guy, but I will verify. Richard says GFX 100S is going to have everything, and the 4K covers at least 90% of the sensor. It's sick. I don't know how they're doing it. Seriously, have a medium format sensor and have 90% coverage of a medium format sensor? I mean, what processor are they using to capture and then analyze and then output that amount of data? Or maybe it's just not nearly as much as we all thought it was. I have no idea. I think that the developments in medium format with both like the GFX and the G50R or whatever it is that what it's called? I can't remember. In 2 years, you're going to have a flood of extremely affordable medium format cameras all over the place. I think that is probably going to be one of the best deals in photography, is when those things start coming down in price, and as they start to release Gen 2 and Gen 3 versions of those cameras, and you're able to pick up the Gen 1 or the cameras from the past. I mean, like, medium format is a very interesting format if you do a lot of portraits and studio work, if you do a lot of, I don't know, still life. I mean, if you have the time to work with the large format. These are not fast cameras, right? And I love the look. Fuji just has a specific look. And it's so much different from everything else that I've seen. It kind of stands out. It doesn't look surgical. The one thing that I do wish Fuji would fix is that sort of like really busy bokeh that they have, the out of focus areas. It is a little busy even for me. I mean, it doesn't suit me 100%. I've tried to ignore it, and I've tried to act like it wasn't that bad, but it's kind of bad. I'm not a huge fan, but the colors, the film simulations, the usability, those firmware updates, the dedication to the craft, that's what keeps me coming back. Organic Farmer says, even bad beer tastes good if it's free. Truth. Jason Wright says, just got here. How's the M50 for photos? Every review I see is centered on video. Well, that's because it's a vlogger's camera, man. That thing is squarely on vloggers. But I will say, I took it to use it during my niece's kind of like birthday gathering. I like the photos. What I'm going to say, you know what, because I want to save it for the review. I haven't done a review on it yet. It's a great camera. If you don't need speed, if you don't need vast amounts of performance, if you just need a good camera to take those shots, the M mount is lacking in a lot of areas. If you happen to get the EF adapter, you're probably going to be a much happier camper with it. Literally, the M50 is what the A6000 was 5 years ago. Everyone's going to be adapting shit to it, stuff like that. It's a great camera. It needs better lenses. It needs better native lenses because I don't know, they're okay, but I prefer something with a little bit wider of an aperture. Most of their glass on the M mount itself, 3.5 stuff. Just like Sony's APS-C lineup, it's pretty much trash. But it takes good pictures. I mean, as long as you don't need speed or performance, it takes good pictures. $360 Mix says, Matt Granger's just strange. I don't know. I've never met the guy. He's an Aussie. Some people are just, you know, I'm going to speak from experience. Sometimes there's just people that have been alone for too long with themselves. They've only had themselves to talk to for so long that the experience is probably not ideal. You know, you get used to, if you're by yourself long enough, you talk to yourself, so you get used to the conversation that you have with yourself. And that sometimes happens to me, like if I'm on a long trip, like all by myself. You know, you kind of work shit out with yourself. You bounce ideas off the inner person, right? Sometimes I wonder how long he's been hanging out with his inner person. Tina hasn't been in many of his videos here lately. AJ said, order the EOS R. Maybe not where you should go against the grain, but I'm intrigued. New mount, color science, fast glass, old, quote, new body. Forgive me. Dude, you're forgiven. Everyone's got to find their own way, man. I mean, I'm going to personally take a shit on the Canon EOS R because it is literally a recycled piece of trash. I mean, pawned off as new, and it's not. It is literally not even a 5D Mark IV. Just the sensor recycled in that new body. The mount was unnecessary. I think Sony's even trying to prove that you didn't need a bigger mount to gather more light. I don't know, man. Canon, they are hype, but they do make reliable products, so I don't fault anyone for hanging in there tight with them. But yeah, they are not innovative or cutting edge. All right, I gotta catch up. I feel like I'm so fucking far behind. Sure, I dropped the F-bomb and I didn't mean to. Brian just said, I throw Matt Granger in there with early Kai. Woo. It was all about exotic models to get views. Honestly, I don't see how exotic models get views. Most people don't shoot with exotic models. I mean, you can have the occasional collector or the occasional, camera snob or whatever. I never really saw how that was going to get views. Honestly, I'm interested in a tool, I'm not necessarily a camera collector. I have a few older models that I really enjoy using just because, hey, they're cheap, they're useful, they perform decently. But I'm not a camera snob. I use the camera for the job, right? But there are some that they slip on like an old t-shirt. You know, they just feel good. Jose says, they are incredible. Trust me, they are great. It's good to hear, man. Foezia? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Matt G wears diapers. Does he? How you know? He wears diapers? Are you trying to say that Matt Granger is a full-on man, baby? Come on now, tell the truth. Does he really wear diapers? How do you know? Tell me. I want to know. Brian Roberts says, Zach Azarias needs to put out more content. He's like the Anthony Bourdain of photography. Yeah, he really is. Zach Azarias, or Zach Arias, he's... My first genuine exposure to him was Crop or Crap. I think 98% of every single person that's ever watched a Zach Arias video was exposed to him because of Crop or Crap. .360 says, I'm planning to make some rant videos on cameras and Apple. They got my ass burning. Send me that link, bro. Send me that link. Brian Roberts says, watching him work through a problem like the cheap camera challenge is an absolute masterclass. Yeah, I used to really enjoy Kai and Locke when they used to do that pro photographer cheap camera. The David Hobby one was a little painful to watch. I like David Hobby, And I actually have one of his classes. I think it was on flash photography. I've had it for probably 15 years. I'm not even sure when it was made. But I keep it around just in case I ever want to brush up on it. I just don't do a whole lot of people flash photography. Most of it is just I'm lighting a room or something like that. But yeah, that was probably one of the hardest ones to watch. Brian Roberts says, watching him work through... Oh, yeah, I already said that. Asgarth says, love you, bro. I love you too, man. I really do. Dan says, but who really needs medium format? In the old film days, yes. But today, with 35-plus pixel sensors, not so much. Maybe not. But the light gathering capabilities of medium format makes it an intriguing option. Not just for people that like to shoot low light, but for studio photographers that do still life or macro photography or... I'm trying to think of some other really good applications for medium format. High resolution and high or large sensor size is a very interesting combo. The technical aspects of medium format present a lot of challenges, especially with high megapixels, because if you're not a studio shooter for, say, like magazines, for high fashion or anything like that, it really does bog down your workflow. But if you are a connoisseur of sorts, of image quality, of resolution, or you want the ability to crop, recompose the shot in post, it does pose a lot of interesting possibilities for people that want to shoot first, compose later. I'm not a huge fan of that mentality, but I do know that there are a lot of photographers that shoot high resolution, like the A7R, and medium format, and they use wide angle, and they just shoot as much as they possibly can, and then just kind of recompose the shot later. So I mean, I don't know. Too many people focus on sensor size in general. Full frame is so wonderful. It's the best. It's the only way to go. But it's really not. You have to understand that you, as a photographer, are you printing it out? Are you printing it out at what size? If you're going to be hanging it in a gallery, how far back are people going to be standing from your work? Generally 5 to 10 feet. Does the resolution even justify the cost? If you're just putting it on Instagram, Facebook, or stuff like that, all of those things have to be taken into consideration. So if you're not printing large format, if the viewing distance is not going to be right here on top of it, full frame, large megapixel counts, high bit rate, pretty much unnecessary. Fathom Rocker says, thank you for doing what you do. I wake up and drag my ass to work 15 minutes early just so I have enough time to watch your morning show every day. I appreciate that so much, man. I really do. I honestly and genuinely do. I get up at 4 a.m. just about every morning, and I start reading my news and kind of figuring out what strikes me that day. And then I get up and make my video. I appreciate my viewers extremely, extremely. Paul Best Photography says, XT3, I don't need XT2 is fine. The low light isn't better, so no point. Need better ISO and a new battery. Photos I don't mind. By video batteries burns through very fast. Yep, all of what you just said is mainly, or the largest reason that I didn't go ahead and go through with my XT3 order. The photo side is what I mainly use it for, and it's not as conducive to my video stuff as far as the YouTuber is concerned. So XT2 I'm staying with, and the Canon M50 works just fine for my YouTube stuff. If I was doing bigger productions as far as video goes for clients, maybe, but I don't. Maybe one day. I mean, I would really like to do like more video walkthroughs of real estate. I would like to do some personal projects too that involve video at some point. I mean, you can't do it all though, obviously. Jose says, maybe you spoke about this already, but did you see that FTZ won't take the Tamron? Yes. Yes, I did. Is it a joke what Nikon did? No, it's not a joke. Nikon is extremely proprietary about their lenses. First of all, it's very hard to adapt Nikon lenses to anything else unless it's just a straight-up dummy adapter. So maybe they did that shit on purpose. I would be willing to bet that there are a lot of Nikon shooters that are pretty upset. I would be too. Too Smart says, keeping my D800E and kit for rental studio stuff in my main portrait camera. Looking at the A6500, G9, and XT3 for video camera and second event camera. I think this new Sony A, whatever it's going to be called. Yeah. I'm kind of waiting myself. I would really like to see what Sony's going to release. I don't know what it's going to be. If it's basically just going to be like the Wildlife Mini A9, I'm probably not going to be all that interested. If they come out with a bomb-ass 4K flippy screen, then I'm going to be off the hook. I'm going to be super stoked. 4K flippy screen. I'm waiting for it. Seriously, Sony would just win. They would win the whole internet if they would just make an A6500, you know, in-body image stabilization, 4K, flippy screen. They would win the internet. MJ says, gotta go. Thanks for the laughs. See you next time. Appreciate it, Mark. MJ. I appreciate it. Michael says, Mark, for me, drinking is just the procedure to get where you're trying to go. Drunk, lol. 7 years sober now, tell the truth. Yeah, honestly, being a high-fat, low-carb dieter, lifestyler, I don't drink very often. I do not like to impede my liver's ability to get rid of sugar extremely fast. But sometimes it's just nice to have a drink every now and then. And congratulations, like Casper said. You know, sometimes people can't handle it. Sometimes it's a very controlling substance. Just like this crap, I'm still addicted to nicotine. I may not smoke anymore, but I am still addicted to nicotine. But sometimes I think you just have to admit that, hey, I actually like it. I do. And right now I have like banana cream pie in this thing. It's too delicious. I'm not giving up banana cream pie. Come on now. But seriously, if you quit because you genuinely wanted to, I am all for it, man. Nothing should control you. You should always be in control. So, congratulations, man. I mean, that's a long time. 7 years. Congratulations. Organic Farmer, good night. Thanks for the information. Off to the movies. Peace, man. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Owen Wagoner says, what are your thoughts on the Fuji 18-55 lens versus the 18-135 lens? I'm trying to decide which to buy for some travel photography and can't make up my mind. That's a rough one, man. I own the 18-55. It's, at least some of them, are the Japanese made in Japan lenses. For the price, you should own it. No matter what else you get. It's a fantastic, everyday, do almost anything lens. Go ahead and pick it up. You're not gonna hate having it in your collection. Dan says, have both, and both are must-have travel lens to add to the 10-24. The 10-24 is also excellent. I use that for real estate stuffs. Owen says, I already have the 10-24. Love that lens. I know, for an f4, it is an absolutely excellent lens. That's the reason it makes it really hard for me to say that I want the red badge 8-16. I don't know how I'm going to... I don't know if I want to try to justify the cost of that lens, because the 10-24, it's not like it sucks. It's actually really good. Jose says, I have the Tamron lenses, and if I'm out if mirrorless with Nikon for now. Well, that's unfortunate, man. I think you would find Fujifilm extremely good. Really good, actually. All right, I think I'm all caught up on comments for once. If you guys don't have anything else, I'm probably going to start working my way out of here, but Michael says Casper is going to kick me out of the Sony crew, laughing out loud. I sold my Sony 24-70 G Master and kept the Tamron 28-75. I don't blame you, man. Seriously, if Sony lenses weren't so ridiculously expensive, I don't find that the G Master lenses are honestly that much better than some of their Sigma and Tamron competitors. Honestly, if you just want native glass because you want the excellent autofocus, if you just want the excellent compatibility, then I say fine. If you don't want to have to constantly be updating third-party lenses, there is something to be said about native glass. That's probably one of the main reasons why I buy the Fuji native glass, and I don't try to adapt anything to it, because I already find that they have excellent image quality, excellent support. They keep everything as up to date as they possibly can. There's no reason to buy, Tamron or Sigma stuff when Fuji's doing a hell of a job not only providing the masses with affordable options, fast options, quick focusing options, small, lightweight, and constantly updated. It's kind of a no-brainer, honestly. Thomas Robert says, need help getting my Fuji RAW files in Lightroom. How can I convert to DNG? I don't know, man. I use Affinity Photo. I don't use Adobe products whatsoever. I don't like the subscription model, so I have not been an Adobe user for probably the better part of 5 to 7 years. I can't remember exactly when I started to look for alternatives. I know that I've been a Final Cut Pro 10 editor for, let's see, it came out in 2011, so 7 years now. I was Final Cut Pro 7 before that. I tried dabbling in a few of the other systems when I was still using 7, but as soon as Final Cut Pro 10 came out, I never looked back. As soon as Adobe started introducing the subscription model was probably when I finally ditched Adobe altogether. I mean, Flash is garbage. I don't know why they're still supporting it. I don't know why they're still releasing. I mean, just get rid of it. Go to HTML5. There's new technologies out there. Flash is garbage. David says, Fuji's upcoming 8-16 doesn't have a filter thread, which is the only reason why I won't replace my 10-24 for it. The bulbous front element is a little too much for me to swallow as well. The 10-24 is an excellent all-purpose wide-angle lens. And like you said, you can screw filters onto it. So if you wanted to do video out in broad daylight, the f4 helps. So you're able to keep it at f4 with an ND filter on it. Way cheaper. I can't justify the cost of the 18-16. And I've tried a couple of different times. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's red badge, 8-16, 16-55. I'd probably own the 16-55 if it had lens stabilization, but it doesn't. So the 18-55 does me just fine. The 50-140 is amazing, and the 100-400 is what helped me capture the solar eclipse last year. Probably one of the best super zooms that I've ever owned. I mean, it's just phenomenally well built. I don't know. I love that lens. I mean, it's an expensive lens. I mean, I paid $1,800 for that lens. But it was just absolutely stellar. And it's gotten better. It has definitely gotten better. If it wasn't for me wanting to photograph the moon all the time, I'd probably sell it. I don't know what it is. It's like how many shots of the moon can you take? But every time I see that big, beautiful, bright, full moon, man, it just, I don't know. I got to go shoot it more. Yes, Capture One works with the Fuji X-T3. Works really well. I use Capture One a lot of the time. But Affinity Photo will also open REF files just fine. All right, man. I've been on here for about an hour and 40 minutes. I appreciate all the super chats. You all don't understand how much those mean to me. Most of the time, the regular videos during the week, you know, I work really hard to make those videos, but they just don't really bring it in. The super chats, if you love the creators that you watch on a weekly basis, I think that super chats are the easiest and most effective way to help support your favorite creators. I love Eric Marks. He was in the chat earlier. I shot him a super chat twice. I think it was yesterday yesterday afternoon. It's just one of the easiest ways to help support your creator. So I appreciate it, guys. You all have been awesome tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you don't have plans yet, go make some plans. It's only about 9:42 p.m. There's still plenty of time to go out there and get into some trouble. And I'm going to see you guys again probably Monday morning. I got a photography gig tomorrow, so I am not going to be doing any video work whatsoever tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff to do. So, thanks again, guys. I will see you all on Monday. Peace.